Welcome to East Boston's open discussion series on getting to know the candidate. We're here today with State Rep candidate Camilo Hernandez and his wife, Esther. East Boston Open Discussion is East Boston's original and premier open discussion format. Join the discussion today at www.eastboston.buzz. So we're here today with Camilo Hernandez, State Rep candidate here in East Boston, where he's joined here today with his wife, Esther, and his newborn baby, Gabriela Marta. If you're unfamiliar with Camilo, Camilo is a Colombian immigrant, and he attended La Salle University there in Bogota, Colombia, and he actually moved to the U.S. as a professional tennis player. Once he was in the U.S., he then moved to Boston, where he received his bachelor's degree at Cambridge College, preceded by a associate's degree at Roxbury Community College. But he's probably more familiar to East Boston residents for his work in City Hall under Sal Lamatina's office in his Constituent Services Department. That said, today's conversation is less about politics and more about getting to know the person, the immigrant, the Colombian-born immigrant turned naturalized U.S. citizen, turned father, turned man now seeking to serve the residents of East Boston as their state rep. Welcome to the program here, Camilo and Esther. Congratulations on your newborn baby here, Gabriela Marta.
Yes, thank you.
Now, tell me, so she was born not too long ago, in December, right?
Yes, December 17th.
December 17th, okay.
Yes.
And at Mass General, right?
Yes.
So how does it feel to be newborn parents here now? You've only had about 8 weeks of experience now, but
Phenomenal. It's
yeah.
a wonderful feeling
Yeah.
to be a family and to have a baby. It's exhausting.
I'm sure, yeah.
You can imagine, but I cannot even compare it to anything.
Yeah,
Still processing the dream. It's a dream.
yeah,
It's still flying about it. It's just every morning when I see her and she's smiling, it's that energy that we need to have to be. I would say that good father, real human. So I love it.
mm-hmm. Now, as I understand it now, Gabriela Marta, she is the first U.S.-born baby in your family, right?
She's the first. Yes.
Wow.
He was born. Yes.
That's another big congratulations right there.
Thank
So it's a big move to move from family from one country to another like that. So congratulations. So it's talking about your second generation here already.
Yeah.
So you're from
I'm from Hungary.
You're Hungary, right?
Yes.
Okay, right.
And we have a Colombian here.
And a little
Hungarian Colombian.
Hungarian Colombian American. Okay. So now, obviously, this is a big moment in your life for you as a new father, well, new parents, really. But at the same time, you got this calling for public service right about the same time. So how did this all work out now? Your baby's born, and about the same time, you're launching your campaign to become a state rep.
Yeah.
So how did that all
And
come together?
That was just fascinating how life of blessing of life, having a new baby, a new human in our life, and also having the call of the people of the community, people of East Boston, and telling please, we want you to be our candidate, we want you to be a leader, we want you to represent us, to continue those 2 years of service. And
So what you're saying is that it wasn't necessarily a decision that you'd even thought about necessarily, or you together thought about, but people were calling you and asking you to stand up and present yourself to become a state rep candidate.
That's correct, and then obviously she knows everything that's happening around, and say, well, what should we do? I mean, talk to her. I don't know what should we do.
So
I knew what I want to do.
You knew what you wanted to do, but then obviously you need to talk
Yes.
with Esther about it,
Yeah.
because she was pregnant at that point, expecting any time.
Pretty much, yeah.
And so then you came to the decision, and so you spoke to it.
Yeah,
asked
pretty
her
much
about
he
it.
came home, and obviously when the news came out that Basil left, we heard about it, and then the phone kind of exploded, and I was in the background, and we knew it was happening, so I had a couple days to think about it, and when he asked me what we should do, I agreed to kind of jump in. Like we are all jumping in this
Sure.
race
Yeah.
because the opportunity presented itself, and we just have to take it and see what happens.
Okay.
And I'm behind him 100%, whether I was pregnant or having a baby or whatever happens. We're a family. We have to do it, and we are doing it.
Yeah, I realize that, being in that sort of position, being the spouse of a potential political candidate here it's got to be stressful, and you always have to discuss things out before, because it's going to mean a lot from a public and private life perspective for your new family, obviously. So
Yes,
yeah.
if you don't have that motor and that energy, that support from there. And she was clear that she didn't mention that you represent the reality.
Mhm.
Your family is a lot of families in East Boston, kids, and the future. You need to do it. And I asked her 3 times, are you sure you say what you say?
Mhm.
She recorded you. So it happened, and it's a blessing from any point of view.
Well, I have to admit that you have quite a story to tell as far as your decision to even come to the U.S. from Colombia, and your story of actually emigrating from Colombia to the U.S., first into Miami and then here to Boston and eventually to East Boston. So give us a little history rundown. So how did it even come about, and how did it occur you to emigrate from Colombia to the U.S.?
My father passed away on December 24th, and before he left us, he emphasized and he told me, invest in people, take care of your family, even sick. It was really challenging, brutal. I got the support of my mom to pursue what I wanted to do, tennis and school. And I mentioned that I wanted to have opportunities in life for me. Say, what I will support you 100% what I want to do, and the opportunity to come to the United States present, and I can. And I only have a.
So your family helped you out with
Yes.
that decision. So you had an opportunity with a friend of yours to come to the U.S. Your family was behind you, and they supported you 100% of the way to say, hey, we would love to be able to see you go to the U.S. and make a go of it there.
Yeah, my mom was really scared. Said, "What are we gonna do without you? You've been supporting all this time, me and my brothers, and you doing your life, but also disconnected from us a little bit." And I told her I'll be back in 3 years. She told me, make sure you'll be back in 3 or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
She got a loan. She gave me money. My friend.
So the original plan was only going out 3 or 6 months.
Yes, that's correct. I wanna. The dream was I wanna learn a language a little bit, and then pursue a little bit of tennis training.
Sure.
And what an opportunity, because one of my friends asked me.
So this goes back to pre 9/11, so 2001
Yes,
we're talking here,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And you presented, got connected because one of my friends moved to Houston to work in Telemundo. I said, well, maybe you can do all these things while we connected to Houston and Telemundo. When I got here, she got fired.
So you arrived in Miami. The first notice that you get is from your friend indicating that their portion of the deal is done. So
Yes.
you're here in the U.S. already. So you have to come up with a plan. You arrived in Miami, and so once you're in Miami, you have to find something to do. So what did you do? So you
the only tools that I have is the youth, the energy. At that point, when the academy. But the strong tool that I have is the tennis, tennis racket, and I was going out from tennis court, public tennis courts in Florida in order to connect that to the industry, and to have opportunity to explore the discipline of tennis and to get some experience.
So eventually you find some sort of a kind of a low end job that you can at least start somewhere in the tennis industry, right?
That's correct. I got offered to be caddy, they call it a bowl, Picard the balls.
Okay, all right.
Picard the balls help me out because we meet over here in this open tennis court for the public, and you can have a couple hours picking up the balls, and
Right.
eventually you do spatting and do some rallies.
So you do that for a little while, but then one day someone approaches you.
Yeah, they encouraged me, being in Florida, they encouraged me to go to Ericsson tournament, Key West.
Okay.
A beautiful facility with all the big guys and the tennis industry coming to play.
Right.
Sampras, Agassi, my career, all the big guys. And I went over there for the tennis family day.
Okay.
I want to see the clinics, I want to see the connection, I want to see the players train. It wasn't a match because it was too expensive. So I jumped into one of the clinics and families, kids, and somebody asked if that was. I went to the Spanish tennis clinic. At that point, they speak any English. So I ran one of the exercises. Somebody from a Romanian professor from Harvard University approached me and said, "This is my name. This is my card. I run the summer tennis camp at Harvard University. Come check it out."
Okay, so you're here in Key West, hanging out in Key West,
Yes.
swinging the racket around with your tennis, and you bump into this guy from Harvard, from Boston, a place which you would probably never really given a second thought to at that point.
Yeah.
He says, "I have an opportunity for you." So you say, "Okay." So you went from there. You said, "Okay, this is my opportunity."
I called my mom. I said, "Look at what happened." She's like, well, I don't know what to tell you." It's like, "Well, is any way you can help me more?" It's like, "Help you more?" It's like, "I don't know, you can do that." It's like, "We need money." So like, how? She went to the bank, asked for a loan. I don't know how she did it. She did it in a couple of days. And then she said, and also had a,
She somehow,
Yeah.
whether from her family, friends,
Yeah,
neighbors,
yeah.
they got the money needed for you to come up to Boston.
yeah. And,
Wow. Okay.
And also she's like, "You remember, I'm gonna give you the money, and also, in good news, one of your high school friends lives in Boston. This is the
Huh.
number."
So you have
Yeah.
have an in.
That's my mom.
connection. Yeah.
She gives more and even more.
Right.
So it happens. The next day I was here.
The next day,
Next
you
day.
took a flight up,
Yep.
flew up
Yeah.
from Miami to Boston. Here you are. You landed in Boston. You've got a new job. Now you were working at with Harvard and the tennis team over there, kind of as kind of a weekend sort of a job, as I understand.
I was
right?
helping. I was volunteering.
Volunteering, okay.
Because I couldn't work. I didn't have the permits and
Right.
everything, so I didn't speak English at the time. I was just
Right.
helping and
Mhm.
be there for. I loved it. I did it 10 hours each day. On the
Okay.
weekends. So,
And then during the week, that's when you were going to school.
yes,
Right.
I was attending school.
Okay, all right. And so eventually, you then have to get your visa status extended, and so you apply for and get your student visa, right?
That's correct. That's what I want to pursue. I did English for a while. I want to get into more academics challenges, so I went to and apply for student visa at Roxbury Community College.
Okay, so that's when you went to Roxbury Community College, and then after you moved from there on to Cambridge College to study business management,
That's
right?
correct, yes.
Okay, okay. So, so how does all of this end up in leading you to the political life, political world?
Tennis is a beautiful thing that happened to me in life, and I always gonna thank my grandfather, my dad, because I was the weird kid in Colombia playing tennis. But
Now, I imagine in Colombia, tennis is not probably one of the most popular sports there.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I always mention and recall I was a weird kid playing tennis. And
Okay.
It's in the streets.
Right.
Wood racket and. But look at what it taught me. Gave me a lot of opportunities, open doors. Besides the English, but the skills of having a discipline, which is called tennis, got me connected to Harvard University. Harvard University, with one of the branches of United States Tennis Association in England, which is tenacity, to promote tennis and literacy. Got me connected to Boston Public Schools, specifically the Humana,
Okay.
which I worked for 4 years. Those 4 years allowed me to connect with students, faculty, not only that, but the family.
So so you were then, so you kind of liaised from, now originally you were living in where? You'd moved
Arlington.
In Arlington, okay. So then you got this new opportunity with the Mario Amana School for the tennis, for doing a tennis program there.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's how you then ended up in East Boston. So you
That's
moved to
correct.
East Boston, you're helping out the students, the youths there
Mm-hmm.
with the new tennis program, implement a new tennis program, right?
That's correct. And then,
Okay.
with the condition that was, you teach tennis and literacy, but you got to do home visits. You got to
Home
tell.
visits, okay.
You got to tell the parents what's happening in school day.
So it's more than just being a coach, it's kind of mentoring the students to a certain degree as well, yeah?
That's correct. So I did it for 4 years. It was
Okay.
long hours, even weekends.
Mm-hmm.
It happened. I loved it. The money wasn't there. It was more passion to what I still do.
Right,
Working with the community, working with parents with facilities.
Sure.
So
working with youths and...
yes. So in 2010, the census program from the city hall with the leadership of Thomas Menino came to Boston to promote the census and bilingually. So they want me to be part of this transition, this program. With
So
the
they
families.
recognized you as a kind of a leader
Yes.
in the community already, and then they solicited your help to get that done, the census.
Yes, and that way got connected to the police department of East Boston District 7, more with the city hall, more with the elected officials, and that's what they brought me to the table.
Okay, so what was your first kind of, at least not official kind of work that was more involved with the politics? So Senator Petrocelli or Sal Lamadina?
Was the position open in Senator Petrocelli's office, and they wanted me to do some work with that at office. I needed the okay of police department, which I had because I ran a summer soccer police department league.
Okay,
So he got me to introduce Hernani, which was the East Boston Youth of the mayor's office. So the mayor's office said yes, and then I needed the okay for the city councilor to work in the senator's office. And I sit down with Councilor Lamadina and I say, well, I have a project for you. I want you to do a survey of statistics about who lives in the basements in East Boston for 6 months. And we went through the 6-month period and I said, well, I want you to be my East Boston liaison.
okay. So Sal Lamadina said to you, okay, so we've got this project, kind of an interim trial period sort of project for you. You spearheaded that project as far as looking at basement apartments, basement residential units, and then he said, all right, I like your work. I want you to work for me.
Yeah, there was so many projects, and the basement was the last thing that we did.
Yeah.
Doing our phone calls, and going to the events, and
Sure.
translating, but that's how we started.
Okay. Now, you then worked with the Undersal and the constituent services for how long?
5 years.
For 5 years, okay. Okay. And if taking one step back here, so if we were to look at, that story there of your kind of life and how you immigrated from Colombia to the U.S., who would you say, or who would you point to as being having had the biggest kind of influence on your life today, where you are today?
My parents.
Your parents.
My parents. My dad, what he showed me in the early years of my youth, working with people, all kinds of people, and telling me that he fought for his family when he got thrown out of his house. He was 13 years old, but he built a man and a family and a projection for us. And then having the mom that I have, playing all the cards for the best of my future and giving everything in order to be successful. So definitely my parents.
Definitely your parents. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So now, obviously, you started out in Miami. You then moved to Arlington. Then you had somehow magically ended up here with Mario Mana here in East Boston. So obviously, being Colombian, there's quite a few nice Colombian restaurants here in East Boston. So, do you have a couple of favorites that you like to go to?
I love Giju Cafe. I'm gonna tell you why, because it introduced me to open my heart in order to create this family.
Now, is that now? Tell me now. You say that now. Now.
Yes, that's what we had our first.
Now wait.
Twice
Now you two have known each other for how long now?
almost 7 years.
7 years?
6.5.
6, 7 years.
6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
Now, how did you first actually meet each other?
Two friends.
Through friends?
Yeah, I used to dance salsa quite a lot.
Okay.
And I met a bunch of friends from Europe and from America all over the world.
You can see our videos. It's like one of those.
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars.
No.
So
Not-
no,
not
wait a second.
flat, but I
You're
like
from,
dancing.
now, Esther, yeah, you're from Hungary, but
Yes.
this is a little strange because you love dancing salsa.
I do. I
Okay.
love dancing, period.
Okay.
And originally, when I wanted to find a place to dance, I wanted to do ballroom, and salsa was the closest to ballroom actually.
Okay.
And I got involved in the scene, and I danced a lot. And obviously, because he is Colombian, somehow got involved with the scene as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how we met through common friends.
Now you went, now obviously music and dance is a big part of Colombian culture, but so you went to this place, I guess maybe it was in Cambridge or Somerville that you...
No, not necessarily. We didn't really meet in Cambridge. There's a place, Havana Club.
Okay.
Everybody's associating
Sure.
salsa with Havana Club,
Yeah.
which is an amazing place. But actually, we met. Where did we meet?
Oh yes, yes. I got connected with the salsa scene,
Mhm.
obviously because okay, you're Colombian, you're Latino, you check it out. It's an international scene because it's pretty much all the, I would say all the people with no families, the people who that live in the United States on their own. It's interesting. Young professionals,
young,
exactly,
single
fun.
professionals, yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
interesting, fascinating. They check it out. I don't do this salsa today, but I went to check it out, take notes, and I saw
Taking notes?
yeah, and I saw the crowd, and I told a few friends like, we're getting close to the International Women's Day. I want to run and create that event.
Okay.
So we did that event. I did that event. I brought mariachi and flowers to all the ladies. And
All right, so anyway, so you met and then...
It's a kind of long story.
It's a long
like,
story.
We've been like friends forever. But we
But
met
you
through the
really,
scene.
all right, so you've been friends for a long time, but you really only kind of became more romantically involved in the past maybe
Couple
2 or
years,
3 years,
yeah.
right? Okay,
Couple
so,
years.
and then that actually happened. Now, you had originally been living in Framingham, and then at some, maybe a point 2 years ago, you were moving from there to Charlestown, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so you bought a place in Charlestown. You had been friends with Camilo for a little while.
Yeah.
He calls you up, or you call him, and you're talking. Now, all right. So I don't know who's chasing who here, but
Yeah,
I suspect it might be this guy. So,
Yeah.
So he calls you, and he says, "All right, come on over to East Boston. I want you to go to a place called Cafe Gaju."
Correct. That's what
And
happened.
you know,
So
it
I
was,
didn't even know where.
you didn't
East
know where it
Boston
was, and you wanted to. He suggested talking about, I don't know, politics or something,
No,
or the
no, not
community,
really.
or
just like
just a fun time.
fun times
Okay.
and our friendship and
Okay.
people we know. You know, like we
So
were
there
just
might have been-
buddies, pretty much.
Okay.
And then we sat down. We had a couple of appetizers, had some drinks, and we're just chatting it up.
But that was kind of like a changed day where it's turned from being more or
Not-
less just friends to
Pretty
more.
much, yeah. But it
more
wasn't.
romantic.
It was more deeper friends. It wasn't even like any
So you've been
romantic
friends.
in
Obviously,
that
you
sense.
liked and admired, Camilo as a man. So
Definitely.
what is it that you saw in Camilo as a what
a
attracted-
man?
Yeah.
He was always really generous, really gentlemanly. Never was any, not creepy at all. Like I
That's
spent
a
a
good
couple,
thing.
like I spent some time with him just one on one. Like he
Sure.
never really approached me in a funny way.
But he was,
know what I mean? He was
honest,
always a gentleman
gentleman.
and funny. Like I
Mhm.
liked his humor.
Mhm.
Like he can be. Like we just had like a really good vibe,
Good
really
connection,
good
yeah.
connection.
Sure.
And throughout the years, for some reason, we kept calling each other and
Right.
texting each other. How is the other person? But
He was taking his time.
yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
See,
It was never.
See, it turned out okay.
It turned out
okay.
fabulous. It was
So-
actually one of like we were like the most surprised when it ended up being
Yeah.
a unit. We're like, where did it happen? Like that was like the shock. It was like
When
a big
you're
shock.
kind of like romantically involved with someone that's has a public, political sort of related life, that must be kind of difficult too, I imagine. Because when you
Yes.
go out, if you go out in public, you
I
get a
don't-
lot of people that want to talk to Camilo.
That's true. That's true. I don't mind. Like I'm not a shy person,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't mind. I just like let him be and do the thing. So for that, if we really need to get away from it, we
Sure.
go away.
Right.
We have to, because everybody kind of knows him and everybody approaches him.
Right.
But no, it doesn't bother me really.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm personable. If people talk to me, people are nice. So
Right.
it's like, what I don't like when people are mean. That's what bothers me a little bit more. But
That's definitely one aspect of public life is that
yeah,
it comes there's a
but
good
I
and
try
bad,
to
yeah.
like not take it personal. That's
Sure.
part of it, and we know us, and
Oh,
we know
yeah.
who we are,
Yeah.
and the rest doesn't really matter.
So, do you, if you were to say, pretend that you were living still in Colombia now, if you never had the opportunity to come to the U.S., what would you be doing?
Well, I'm gonna give you that. That's a first question that nobody asked me before. It's a really good one. I would say the same. I would say the same. I'm gonna tell you why. I had the opportunity
By the same, you mean public service?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why. 3 years ago, I ended up going back to Colombia for 3 months. So I miss my family. And most of the time I was spending doing tennis clinics in the streets,
Mm-hmm.
in el barrio, and public, even any public sports courts, a park. I would have my tennis racket, mini net, and I was doing a public exercise
Mm-hmm.
with anybody around. So public service. I would
So public service, okay.
Yes. So
Okay.
yes.
So that seems to be, despite maybe some early pursuit of sports and maybe some pressure to get into the business, public services seem to be like your calling in your life.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
tried the corporate world so many times. I sent so many resumes, and somebody sit down and is like, "What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? I'm gonna do you. I can't do you this harm for you. You need to focus, emphasize. You build yourself up doing public service. Continue,
Mm-hmm.
pursue, keep doing it.
Yep.
So, oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That's
that's who you are.
right, yes.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes some time to,
Yes,
to,
that's
to
right,
learn who
yeah.
we are in lives, and
Yes.
that seems to be your calling. Well, I do want to thank both you and Esther, Camilo and Esther and Gabriela Marta for coming here today and joining me here in this conversation. It's been great to get to know you both on a bit more personal level. I just want to wish you well as both as new parents here, and of course on your political campaign for a state rep. It's obviously coming up. March 3rd is the primary election day for voters to get out there and vote. So best of luck to you on that. And to our viewers, thank you for watching today's Getting to Know the Candidate series with Camilo Hernandez. And please feel free to join us here in the conversation at East Boston Open Discussion. You can go to www.eastboston.buzz. Again, thank you. I'm Paul Rogers, and thank you for watching.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
much.
you.
No,
Okay. Great.
all right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.